Hello everybody and welcome to Lights Up. This is our pre-game show, the last instalment of the week where we have a look at the weekend's action coming up in the WNBL. And speaking of WNBL, one of the all-time greats of the WNBL, the 2011 Grand Final MVP, Sharin Milner. Sharin, we've talked a little bit about the games coming up. Let's have a real good look at them now. Take us through the schedule and then we'll have a chat about what's coming up.
Thought you had Christy Harrow on in my place for a minute, GB, with that welcome. But yes, can't wait for round 6. It's looking good again. Friday night, massive game, especially if the flag bearer herself graces us with her presence. Canberra versus Adelaide. Then we've got the ABC game of the week, Logan Thunder versus West Coast Waves. Both those teams really need a win if they're going to be any chance at making a dent in that final spot. Saturday we've got Dandenong Rangers versus Bulleen Boomers. The Victorian Derby should be an absolute cracker of a game. Bulleen obviously need a win to stay in touch, but Dandenong rolling along very well at the moment, and that's at home. Then we've got Townsville versus West Coast Waves up north. Again, Townsville will be looking to cover the loss of Shanavia Dowdle and hopefully get a win up there. But in saying that, West Coast are desperate at this stage to try and get a win, so it should be a good one. Then rounding out round 6 is on Sunday, Bendigo Spirit versus Canberra Capitals, possibly game of the round, the hottest team in the league versus the team that's just managed to keep in the top 4 without the star of the league herself. So should be a great game and great round.
The star of the league is, as we have mentioned, Lauren Jackson. And yet to make an appearance. She had a false start last weekend. They have a home road double this weekend, so we still don't know where she sits in that regard. Would it be out of the question that she plays on Friday night against Adelaide and then sits out the road game on Sunday?
Well, I'm not too sure where her injury is at, but I'd say if Lauren could play one game and not two, I doubt you'd say, sorry, Lauren, it's 2 or nothing. I'd say you pick your game and play it. And if that's how it pans out, as a viewer and a watcher of the league, I'd be rapt just to see her back. Obviously, you know, it would be great to see Canberra at full strength against Bendigo, I guess, for both teams to see where they're at. But yeah, if she can only play one, I reckon I'd say, no worries, Loz, you do what you can. You
take that. I mean, it is going to, if it pans out that she does play Friday night, it's going to wind back the clock a little bit with Jackson versus Batkovich, quite possibly in a head-to-head matchup. And, you know, they've both won MVPs, are at the AIS together, they've won titles, been to Olympics, done it all. It could be a matchup for the ages.
It could, but let's get out of the past tense and talk in the present. They are absolutely on fire. Batgirl, 27 points, 28 minutes. What a game she had. She's definitely put her hand up and said, what about me for back-to-back MVPs? Then you've got Lauren Jackson, who 12 months ago won the WNBA MVP. So you'd expect when she is at full health after this injury, she's going to, you know, be right in there and leading her Canberra team. Hopefully she would think to another championship because, you know, it's not hard maths. I'm not great at maths, but when Lauren's in the league, I think she's won a championship nearly every time. So, yeah, that Friday night matchup will be absolutely cracking if she plays.
She does have a decent championship record, no matter where she plays.
Yeah.
I think she's won one everywhere she's been. I think, you know, I think she's won 5 or 6 here.
Yeah.
She's won one in South Korea. She's won them in Russia. She's won them in the US. I'm not sure about Spain. We'll have to check Spain next week and we'll get back to you.
Might have to start requesting toe rings just so she can actually sport all these rings she's got.
She has. And look, if Canberra was to sweep the weekend, they're 6-2 and probably looking at somewhere around second spot on the ladder. So big weekend for Canberra, big weekend for Adelaide, who are right now 5-1. But probably a little bias that probably the big game is the Dandenong Bulleen game, the derby. We talked a bit about it earlier in the week on Lights Up. Take us inside the derby as a player. What do you feel? What's it like in the build-up? Is it really different to any other game?
Yeah, it absolutely is. Now that I'm out of the inner sanctum, I can spill the beans. It is absolutely on. From the first meeting or the first training, when you know you're playing Dandenong Rangers, if you've got a Bulleen Boomer singlet, and I'd imagine it's vice versa, it is bragging rights for Melbourne. It is, you know, often there's a lot of, I guess, player transfer between the two clubs. So there's, you know, sometimes that, a bit of bad blood. You know, there's coaching rivalry. Everyone wants bragging rights. And I remember, yeah, just before that anthem finishes, there'd be tingles. And when you go into that huddle, not one person is thinking about anything except trying to destroy the other team.
So it's really just a nice, friendly cup of tea and a biscuit by the sound of it.
That's right. This one, the stakes are very high. Obviously, both teams are, you know, well, they're last year's grand finalists as well, so it's a grand final replay. But yeah, they'd both be desperate for the bragging rights.
So tell me, you know, if the feelings are so high and they're very genuine, the feelings when you go into this game, how does somebody like Jenna O'Hay go from Bulleen one season to Dandenong the next and flip the switch on that? I mean, I know you haven't done it, so you probably can't, but that would be very difficult to do, I would imagine.
I would imagine. I was, a bit of a club stalwart, so I wouldn't know. But from knowing Jenna O'Hay and anyone who's watched her play or come across her, she's got ice in her veins. So, I mean, in saying that, she is very passionate too. So when she puts on a singlet, you would not question for 1 second when you stand beside her. She's playing for that singlet. So she'll put her heart and soul into this game. She'll respect the rivalry. She's obviously not going to cross city lines or anything like that. But there's a big game. I'd imagine Jenna will have a big game. But yeah, she certainly puts her heart on her sleeve and plays for the singlet she wears, and I don't think she'll have any trouble at all with that mentality of wanting to beat the Boomers. And
if there's probably two characters in this derby mix that, you know, aren't going to take a backward step, it's Mark Wright and Tom Maher. How are they going to be?
Yeah, I would suggest maybe put your kids in the 4th or 5th row behind the bench. Do not stand too close. They're both passionate coaches. Tom's obviously desperate for a win at this stage. Mark's a passionate guy. He plays up-tempo physical defence. Tom's whole brand is revolved around up-tempo physical defence. So, yeah, it'll be a pretty bruising encounter. But, yeah, you're right, those two guys, again, hats off to them. They really love the clubs that they're a part of. They're a part of, you know, the whole fibre of those organisations. So, yeah, they'll be wanting the win as badly as the players.
If you are in Melbourne on Saturday, get out to Dandenong Stadium for the derby. That is going to be a massive, massive game. It might be the worst game of basketball possible, but it will still be a great contest. That's always one thing you can guarantee about a Boomers and Dandenong derby match. That's it for this week on Lights Up. Don't forget, you can check on everything WNBL at wnbl.com.au. You can follow the league and the players on Facebook and Twitter. The Twitter handle is at WNBL. We've got at Sharin Milner 4 and at Desi Globitz 6. Desi, our other co-host, she's on assignment this week, I think, isn't she?
Oh, she must be. She's a busy girl.
She's on assignment this week. So Desi Globitz 6, Sharin Milner 4. And don't forget the sponsors who support the WNBL, the Australian Sports Commission, Champion, Sporting, IONET, ANFA, ABC and Sporting Pulse. So for another week, Sharin Milner and Grantley Bernard saying enjoy your basketball this weekend. That's it for Lights Up.